The Help is an inspirational, empowering, and courageous movie about very different women in the South in the 1960s. The ending hinges on a secret of Minnie's famous chocolate pie. I am your host, Melanie Snare, and today on Movie Stars, we are chatting with Lee Ann Flemming, the food stylist who was responsible for making that pie.
I got a job today, writing for the Jackson Journal.
Great. You can write my obituary. Charlotte Phelan, dead. Her daughter, still single.
Does this dress look handmade?
I reckon when you finish it won't.
Thank you.
She looked like the winning horse at the Kentucky Derby.
I've drafted the Home Health Sanitation Initiative.
The what?
A bill that requires every white home to have a separate bathroom for the help.
Maybe we should just build you a bathroom outside, Haley.
Minnie? Hey, Abilene. Hey, Minnie.
Leanne, most people don't think about the role of food stylist being on set for big films, but you actually got to do that for The Help?
I did. I got to put the food on the actual scenes, places where the actors and actresses would be. And it made me a little nervous to be on set though, because you have to be so quiet and everything's just so that made me a little nervous, but I got used to it. Mostly I was outside in the food tent preparing the food, and they would have other people who would take it back and forth, but I did get to see some of the scenes that were filmed. It was very exciting.
Well, we are at the pie shop in Buckhead, which is so cool to see so many different pies.
It is.
And you're gonna today's recipe from you is a cheesecake pecan pie?
It's a cheesecake pecan pie. You know, if it's got cheesecake and pecan pie, it's gotta be good.
Mims, the pie shop, it's so cute. You opened not too long ago?
6 months ago. We opened June 15th, so this Christmas season is our very first.
Yay! So how did all of this come about for you?
Well, I was spending a lot of time in the kitchen baking pies. I was actually in graduate school at the time, spending more time in the kitchen than the library, and decided that I really wanted to bring back a dying art. I really believe that pie baking is something that is a craft that our country is losing, and so I wanted to bring that back with Pie Shop.
Do you have someone that is your personal inspiration as to why you started the pie shop or why you started baking?
I do. My grandmother, she just turned 93, and she's a
wow.
huge inspiration. She still bakes everything from scratch, and she's been a big supporter of Pie Shop. She tells all her friends about our weekly changing menu.
So do you get some of your recipes from her?
Some of the recipes are inspired by her. Since we change it so much at this point, we're definitely creating our own, but the very original recipes, especially the fried pies, she's from North Georgia, and so the fried pies were straight out of Grandma's cookbook.
So how did you land the role of food stylist? Is this something you do on a regular basis?
No, I've never done anything like this before. I write a Sunday food column for the Greenwood Commonwealth newspaper in Greenwood, Mississippi. I write an article about whatever strikes my fancy that day and that week, and 3 recipes, and I've written a cookbook.
Okay.
And when the people from the movie came to kind of scout locations and stuff, they needed somebody to do the food. And the lady said they didn't want somebody who was a caterer, they didn't want somebody who had another business.
Okay.
And I teach school, but I was not teaching that year. And so I said everywhere she went and was asking, my name came up. And so she called me one day. In fact, she called me the day my granddaughter was born. So I had 2 really good things happen to me that day. But
really
good things. And so I went and met with her one day for about an hour, and she said, I don't have to see anybody else. You're the one I want. So I had
this happening?
I had no idea what I was getting myself into. And they kept adding food to the scenes, adding more food, and it just got to be just really snowballed into a lot of work. But it was fun. I wouldn't take anything in the world for the experience.
You change your menu weekly. If people want to order specific pies, can they do that? Or how do you go about placing orders?
That's exactly right. So we do custom pies. We can really do any kind of pie with 24 hours notice as long as it's in season. And so through the website, or you can give us a call, we are happy to bake it for you as long as we can get the ingredients.
So tell me about all of the food that you did. Obviously, they wanted to be very authentic. That was something very important to everyone that was involved with The Help.
They did. I tell you, my mother was probably the biggest help to me of all, because she's a home economist. She has a master's in foods.
Oh.
And back during this time, she was she played bridge and different things like that. Now, my mother worked, but I mean, she played bridge and did things like that, and she could kind of remember what was popular and what you ate. But the funny thing to me was, Like now when you entertain, you want to do something different, have people over, try something new.
Right.
Back then, every bridge club, they had the same thing. You knew when you went what you were going to have. You know, it was just the same food,
Right.
so a lot of it was a little bit monotonous. You had to try to switch a few things, you know, here and there, but you were going to have chicken salad, you're going to have a congealed salad, you're going to have deviled eggs, and you're going to have Minnie's pie for dessert. So.
Ooh, and Minnie's pie. So let's talk about Minnie's pie. Obviously, that's the famous pie from the film. The ending hinges on the secret of Minnie's pie.
That's right.
So what was it like having to make that pie? And I'm sure you did more than one Minnie's pie.
57.
57.
I did 57 during the time of the movie, and I've probably done another 50 since then. Because everywhere I go, oh, bring one of those pies.
Yeah.
And I've done some book signings at some open houses and things, and I'll take one as a door prize, you know, for that, so I could make them in my sleep. It was one of the best experiences I've ever had. I mean, I wouldn't be right here with you right now if it hadn't happened, and all the people that I've met and, you know, things that I've done, and it's just been, I was telling somebody the other day, I said, I never knew a pie could change your life. A pie has changed my life.
You're located right here in Buckhead, great location, and I think it's so cute. You have all of these pie quotes, handwritten quotes on the wall.
We do. You know, pie is such a part of the American psyche.
Right.
I mean, you don't really think about it until you start to do the research, and you've got everything from, you know, Don McLean to Led Zeppelin to the Beatles, and then you've got these 18th century poems.
Do you have a favorite pie quote?
My favorite pie quote is probably the Roger Magot poem. It's pretty long, so I couldn't quote it offhand, but
okay. What's the gist of it?
The gist of it is that he compares pie to the cosmos, and the very last line is, "Waiter, please bring me the moon." And I think that's just a beautiful little, you know, he comes in and he's very skeptical, and then he gets this beautiful pie, and it just blows his mind.
Right. So you're blowing people's minds with all of yours. What is your best memory of filming The Help and being a part of all of this?
I loved the wrap party that we went to. When it was all over, that was great fun. I don't know, everything was just so different. And I just really enjoyed meeting the people and just being a part of it. And it was just, every day was a new adventure. It was a lot of hard work though. It was a lot. People say, would you do it again?
That was my next question.
I would, but I would make sure exactly how much food they needed, because a couple of times I had to get people to come in and help me.
Right.
Because there's no way one person could do all that.
Right.
Because we're talking, if you got deviled eggs for a scene, I had to do like 12 dozen deviled eggs.
Right.
That's a lot of eggs.
It just keeps coming out, replacing the food.
That's right.
Because it has to be consistent. It
has
to look the same.
And it has to look the same.
So are you a local celebrity?
Well,
Little
sorta.
Mississippi?
Sorta.
Oh, she's
sorta.
Sorta,
But,
you are.
But I will tell you, my husband, you know, leave it to a spouse to bring you down to level. When I told him, he's a basketball coach.
Okay.
And I keep his books at home, and away I do all his books. And I told him, I said, they're flying me to Atlanta City. I've got all this going on, and I'm so excited. He said, that's great. I'm proud for you, honey. But now we got a ball game Tuesday at 4, so you got to be home to do the books. I was like, fame and fortune.
Can you just give me a minute?
I know it, just a moment of fame. So I assured him I would be home in time for basketball.
I love it. Well, to get you in time and home, let's go bake a pie.
All right.
Okay, Miss Leanne, you are going to teach me how to make this cheesecake pecan pie?
I am. Now, the first thing you normally do is prepare your crust. We already have the crust prepared.
Okay.
And now I always take a fork and prick just a tiny little bit in the bottom. Don't go all the way through.
Okay.
And then on the sides, it just keeps the pastry from bubbling. Now, a lot of people don't do that, and I've had people say, why do you do that? And I go, because my mama did, and she did it, because her mama did.
Her mama.
So that's what we do.
I like
And
it.
so we've got that ready.
It's good to follow your mama.
That's right. Now, we're going to take, now here you go, I'm teaching you. Here's
You're
your
going to tell me
spoon.
what to do?
All right, this is 1 8-ounce cream cheese. We're going to put that in there.
Okay. Okay.
1 egg.
This is where that lady says, do I put the whole thing in? This is where you say no.
Very good, no shells. Okay. Half a cup of sugar. I assume this is the half a cup of sugar. Okay. A teaspoon of vanilla. And your salt. 1/4 teaspoon of salt.
When you cook, do you do all your little bowls?
No,
No.
I do not do that. That's
just
very,
pretty.
it's very nice
It's very
to have
pretty,
it done.
yeah.
No, in fact, I've gotten to the point where I don't even
You don't measure, do you?
sometimes.
Little
Sometimes
this,
I don't.
little that. No, that's so
Yeah.
not me. I'm like, okay.
Gotta have a fork.
Okay.
Okay, now you're gonna mix that all together.
Okay.
Now, what you could use a mixer with this if you
normally
wanted
you'd use a
to. You
mixer.
probably normally do that.
Okay.
But this is going to be your cheesecake layer. And what we'll do is when she gets through this, we're just going to spread this to the bottom of our pie crust.
Okay.
All right. You can cook. Look at you.
I might be a better baker than a cooker.
Okay, let's go ahead and, I know.
Yeah.
Go ahead and just put that in.
Okay.
We're going to spread that. As I said, that's the cheesecake layer. We're just going to spread it evenly.
Okay.
You want to choose that.
Okay.
So you may want to make one of these for Christmas for your family.
I might. My husband loves cheesecake, so might be a good one to try.
Yeah, just spread that out. And then we have a cup of chopped pecans.
Okay.
That you just sprinkle on top of that. All right. Now we're going to do the pecan part.
Okay.
And we're going to take corn syrup. This is a cup of corn syrup.
Okay.
And your 3 eggs.
So for those of us that don't live in Mississippi, to get to read your column, what's the name of your book so that we can...
It's Recipes and Remembrances.
Okay.
And the newspaper that I write for is the Greenwood Commonwealth in Greenwood.
Okay, but I
And
guess
they're
you could check that out
both
online.
online.
Right.
Or you just type in my name and it'll go to my... I also have a website, so it'll go to that.
And your website is?
Leeanne Fleming.
That's easy. I like it.
Well, actually, it's from the kitchen, but if you do Leeanne Fleming, it'll
Okay.
from the kitchen.
Leeanne Fleming from the kitchen.
Then the sugar.
Okay. So we're basically making 2 pies, just
Yeah.
mixing it together.
Just mixing it together. And the vanilla.
The vanilla.
And we're going to whisk this.
Okay.
Once again, if you had a mixture you wanted to use, that would be fine.
Okay.
I'm going to spread these pecans a little bit for you, make sure these are kind of
Okay.
evenly done. We're going to whisk that.
And we are going to put the recipe on our website as well if you want to learn how to make cheesecake pecan pie or Minnie's pie.
I'll give you Minnie's pie before I go.
You're going to get Minnie's pie, people. The good Minnie's
one.
pie.
We're not mad at anybody.
No, we're
so
not
it's a good
mad.
one.
We're feeling nice. It's the holidays, so.
All right. Now you're just going to kind of gently and evenly pour that
Okay.
over the top.
Yum.
Okay. And we're going to bake that at 350 for about 50 to 55 minutes until it's kind of set in the center.
Okay.
That's what we'll do for that. And that's just very simple.
So this is it.
That's it.
Okay, looks delicious. Be sure you check us out online, www.getlocalatl, so that you can learn how to make this pie. Until next time, I'm Melanie Snare with another episode of Movie Stars.